So, hello, Dylan. Thank you for joining us today to share your insight with the Sustainable Procurement Pledge ambassadors. I really appreciate your time. Please introduce yourself.
Sure, yeah. So my name is Dylan McNeill. I'm a director for supplier sustainability, working at Philips, and basically responsible for a number of programs that we're running to try to improve the sustainability performance in our supply chain. It could focus on labor conditions, could focus on health and safety conditions, or it could focus on trying to minimize the environmental impact that we're making in our supply base. Actively engaging suppliers to tag along with some of the ambitions that we've been running as a company ourselves for quite some time.
Excellent. And what does sustainable procurement mean to you, Dylan?
So for me personally, it means making impact where the biggest impact is needed, basically. But the way that we try to capture it ourselves is trying to get our supply chain to act in a socially and environmentally friendly way that is fully in line with our personal ambitions and direction that we're headed towards the company. So working within the boundaries of the environment, making sure that there's good opportunities for all the workers that are active in our supply base.
Excellent. And I know Philips work in this space well. You're one of the most progressive companies in this space on this topic as well. So what would be your sort of 2 or 3 pieces of advice for others in a similar role, in a similar company, looking at supplier engagement and trying to get more impact with those suppliers?
Yes, I think for me, the biggest learning that I've seen us go through ourselves is that using a stick to engage your supply base to try to get them to act more sustainably is definitely not the way to go. In fact, try to get rid of the carrot and the stick altogether. Our focus is really on intrinsic motivation at our suppliers, focusing on capability building, focusing on business case development, not specifically to that leading to higher prices directly from us as a customer, for instance, but more what it would be in the long term for their competitiveness, for the sustainability in the broad sense of the organization itself, and how to position themselves towards the future.
Excellent. And what were some specific examples of how that actually happens in your supply chain?
Yeah, so trying to, for instance, do best practice sharing on trying to reduce the environmental impact, focusing on low-hanging fruits where there's a quick return on investment. Energy costs money, so by saving energy, you're saving actually money, of course, but you're also, of course, saving your impacts on the environment. The same goes for labor. By offering better labor conditions, there's a very good chance that the turnover in your own factories is going to go down, which allows you to save a lot on the costs that it takes to constantly try to onboard people and try to help them get up to speed, let's say. So there's a lot of very easy ways to start to act more sustainably, while it's actually also in your own best interest to do so.
Excellent. And one final question. I mean, a lot of people listening to this think that working together with your suppliers is a time-consuming and expensive job. What would be your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I think not doing it could cost a lot more. So there's a lot of regions in the world, of course, where legislation is upcoming, and we've positioned ourselves quite well to be fully prepared for those legislations, but we're also preparing our supply base to do exactly the same. So when it is time that there are, for instance, carbon restrictions set, then we think our suppliers will have less of an issue going through that. And so we expect also a lot less supply chain interruptions stemming from sustainability risks, simply because we've been on top of it for much longer. And the way that we've taken our suppliers along really set them up to actually live it versus just having these short-term quick fixes because, for instance, an audit is expecting it from them. So we think that the investment that we're making, it pays itself back quite quickly. Also in supplier relations, by the way, because it really strengthens the partnership, because we phrase everything in a what's in it for you type of way for the suppliers, so that they really only focus on things that absolutely make sense for them.
Excellent. Dylan, I couldn't agree more, and I think it's absolutely the way ahead. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.